Well, a division leader comes in. They beat the Patriots last week, and I don't know what everyone expected, but I surely didn't expect, certainly watching the first 3 quarters of the game, I didn't expect us to be tied up at the end and ready to win. And, well, to be honest, I don't know what else you can ask for. What did you see out there?
Well, again, they couldn't stop them. It felt like they were going to just score every time they touched the ball. Then all of a sudden, in the third quarter, the defense said we're going to stop them 5 times in a row. And they did, and we made it to overtime. Let me ask you this. You guys got balls, right? He went on 4th down early. He went on 4th down late. Lady had a nice touchdown pass to Chandler. Everyone said he should just taken the field goal in both spots, even all the announcers. What about going for 2 points at the end? Win the game right there. Force them to come down and try to kick a field goal.
I mean,
that would be balls, huh?
But then again, if we didn't make it, everyone would be talking about how stupid it was. Even though if he did it, everyone would be talking about how great it was. If you remember, maybe about, what was it, like 8 or 9 years ago, that Dick Vermeil did that for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they just won the game at the end, and I mean, it was awesome. Well, either way, I know I hear a lot. There's a lot of chatter going on, and I don't know whether you listen to the radio or you read the paper. Coaches didn't do this, players this or that, and the fact of the matter is, a really, really good team came in, and we might have faltered in the beginning.
Really strong defense. That defensive line,
best in the league, one of the best in the league.
4 in a row, they try to pound their head into the brick wall.
It might have been a little brick-headed, is what it was.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the rookie coaches, they outthink themselves. They asked him, and I'll show you the clip right here. He says, last week we did it 2 times in a row, and we scored twice in a row. Well, now he's got 4 that he didn't score, so now he's 2 for 6. But I was at the Monday Quarterback Club 2 weeks ago. Thurman Thomas was speaking at it. He says he's been telling Tyrone Wheatley, the running back coach, to spread the defense out for Spiller. Don't have everybody crunched in. There's no lanes, no place to run. I keep saying if there's 22 people in a 5-yard radius, even if everybody falls down, there's no place to walk. You have to spread it out and let them pick their holes.
Well, and you know what? I mean, I did read a little bit about how, last year, maybe he didn't use them enough, but Gailey was able to put Spiller in a position to make those big runs. Now, maybe he didn't have an overall philosophy that worked for the team, but he knew how to spread it out and let him knife through and give him the space, because he needs some space. You can't just jam him up 10 guys and expect him to muscle through. Jackson can do that.
Well, in 4th and 1, nobody was able to do it. And then my other issue, and again, I hate dwelling on the negative, but it always seems that's what's most foremost in my mind. 4th and 1, you tell your quarterback when he rolls out that he can't take a sack there. He's got to at least try to throw the ball. Even if he's in triple coverage and he's not even open, try to force one in there. A sack means you turn over the ball. And the same thing happened the week before in Manuel threw a 4th down pass out of bounds down the sideline. And maybe it was 2 weeks ago. But you tell the kid, throw it into coverage. It's 4th down. And I was telling you earlier, 4th down interception is probably better than an incomplete or tackle, because you're getting the ball further down the field. Here, if they intercept in the end zone, they get it at the 20, so that's not necessarily true. But still, it's 4th down. You're going for a touchdown. Force it in there. Don't take a sack. Don't get tackled.
Well, another thing too is, and as we've talked about before, 2nd and goal is 2nd and 1.
Yeah.
Play action. Toss it to the tight end, the tackle eligible, whatever you got going on. Try that. Try a little bit of that. Maybe instead of throwing on 4th when it's your only hope, why not throw on 2nd when maybe you got a little wiggle room? You can throw it out the back of the end zone. It doesn't even matter. It's as good as running it up into the ass of the center and nothing going on.
Well, anything is as good as what we did, running 4 times into a brick wall and getting no points out of it. And then 98-yard drive.
Yeah, see, that's another thing too, that you can't. In a way, if we don't give that up, you don't fault them as much.
If you could make them go 3 and out and punt from the end zone, then we get the ball back at midfield, we're right, in scoring position again. But midfield always doesn't help us, because at the end of the half, Leonard intercepts it, and he runs it back to about midfield, maybe about the 40, and we go 3 and out, and we end up punting.
Yeah, it just didn't make it happen. But you know what? For as much as people talk about how the coaches don't call the right plays, yada yada, you know what? we kept making changes, and eventually the defense and the offense. And in fact, on the offense, you could see we wore them right down. That no huddle approach.
They were tired.
It just got him. They were just dogging it, and he just tossed him.
Nice tosses. So he had a nice toss to Chandler on the 4th down that we talked about, and everyone said go for a field goal, but it doesn't make sense too. You're down by 11. You still got to score 2 more touchdowns. I mean, essentially, you got to score twice and at least get the 2-pointer. And then, so he made a nice pass there, and what a pretty pass! I think he made 2 pretty passes to Goodwin. One, Goodwin gets raped, and they don't call it. And even the homer, Boomer Esiason, says that was a clear interference that they should have called.
Oh yeah, he just dragged him right down. And
what about the touchdown?
Oh.
To Goodwin.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. Oh, and then you mean the good one, the one that
actually caught. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
The game with a minute left.
And it's funny when earlier in the week they had some quotes from the coordinator, what's his name, Hackett, and he was saying, oh, he's got as good of arm as anybody. He can really toss it. And I was like, oh, I was just sort of rolling my eyes reading it, like, oh yeah, he's really saying this. That's fine. He could. His arm was as good. It was funny.
That ball was right on target. If you look at the Buffalo News today, there's a picture of him catching the ball.
Just he didn't have to slow down or anything.
Both his feet are in the air, and he's running full speed. Yeah. And still doesn't have the ball. He's like this, and the ball's about to land.
Well, and for those of you that watched it on television, and then also if anyone reads SI, a lot of people were saying that Terrence Newman, who was covering him, he did a terrible job. How did he let him get past him? And we were just saying before, well, he's one of the fastest 2 guys in the league.
Maybe he's one of the fastest people in the world.
I know. Anyone, he's like, well, why didn't he turn his hips and get him? It's like, well, unless he grabs him, like he did before, there's no, yeah.
It wasn't like he was way past him. He was just a couple steps past him.
Yeah, if the guy was a little bit slower,
you're talking about one of the fastest guys in the country.
I'm just glad he came back from injury and he made a difference.
They showed on YouTube this good one. Maybe I could find it where they highlighted in the combine in Indianapolis the 2 fastest guys, and he beat the fastest guy by a couple of steps in the 40. And that was the guy that they picked.
The Rams we traded.
Yeah, the 3rd, like they picked him 3rd overall or 4th overall in the league.
He hasn't done nothing, by the way.
Yeah, and he hasn't done. Yeah, and this kid, I love this kid. And one of the things they showed too on YouTube, maybe you can find that as well, is a hit that this kid made.
Sure.
And there was a couple times in the game where there's long runs, and they said, "What a nice block by Goodwin." I mean, so this Goodwin, I wish he was in the game for the last 5 games, but throw a bunch of them at him. Let him run down the field. Even with we got the bad field position, and in overtime we got the ball like at the 10-yard line. We threw an incompletion and we punted, and they got a 27-yard return, and that was the end of it. Why not throw a bomb from the 10-yard lines with Goodwin? Take one shot at him. That's gonna loosen things up if you let that kid run long patterns.
Well, either way, it definitely. I was surprised with the quarterback. He's the size of Fitzpatrick with the arm of Manuel and a little bit more. He made some bonehead moves, as we all seen. Holding the ball too long. I made the nice touchdown run, but held the ball, fumbled it like a moron. But hey, that's what's going to happen.
They say the quarterbacks need an alarm clock in their head. That eventually they got to just get rid of it. You've been there too long. It's been too long, and that's what he's got to develop. And it's only his 2nd start in his career. So for his 2nd start in his career, I mean, I guess we were hoping he would win the game, but I really liked him. I mean, I really liked. He didn't throw any interceptions. He threw 2 touchdown passes. He ran for 1.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you would have put him on your fantasy team, you would have been happy with that. And I guess the one play Chandler's wide open, but you know what? We've seen it before.
But you got to screw that up. Yeah, you got to hit him still. There was a bunch of, they were saying Woods dropped the ball a few times, but he's got to get better at those short slants, and I think that comes with rhythm, with playing with the same player over and over. You know how fast he is, how slow he is, where he's going to be on the field, and after throwing thousands of them, it becomes that. I mean, you don't become Peyton Manning or Brady overnight, although those guys, what did he win the Super Bowl his first year, Brady?
Well, let's see. What do we got going on now? So Stevie Johnson, he was out. Personal issues and a little bit of an injury. Kind of had 2 things going on at once.
So he didn't practice at all, so hopefully he'll practice this week and play against those. Who will we play next week again?
Oh yeah, the Dolphins, right?
Oh, I hate the
And
Dolphins.
of course we got so Stevie Johnson back, Bird was back. I don't know how much of an impact he really had,
made a
but he
couple
was out there.
tackles.
Yeah, I saw him. I
he
loved watching
came
him
up
tackle
behind on
perfect
one
form.
and he hit the ball from behind and broke it up.
So he's going to be more comfortable next time. There's pretty much no chance I don't think we're going to be trading him this year. I just don't see it happening.
When's the deadline? The 29th or something? October 29th?
Yeah, so I guess there's still a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. I guess if we drop 2 more games, maybe we will. But either way, and then we got that Matt Flynn because Lewis, as nice as a game as he had, I guess he had an ankle or something. So now we got this other guy, which I think is just an insurance policy. Lewis has at least been with the team for a month and a half. Hopefully he can still go.
Matt Flynn just doesn't seem to be able to stick with the team. I mean, Seattle paid him all that money. I was talking to a guy out in Seattle, and he said that they were pissed when they drafted Russell Wilson. What are you wasting a pick on Russell Wilson for when you got Matt Flynn? You just paid $7 million. We all know how that worked out. Matt Wilson turns out to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But so there's no real sin about him getting cut after Wilson plays that well.
And we'll take him. We need bodies at the position. We don't want to put Manuel on IR. Hopefully he'll be back in. After the bye at some point.
We don't have to put Thaddeus Lewis on.
After the bye, hopefully he comes back because that's about 4 or 5 weeks from now, and then the next following week, then we got him for the rest of the year, and he can.
We'll see what happens.
Build on something. So okay, here we go. Next week, Dolphins. Hopefully, we're just gonna
squish the fish. Squish the fish. Squish the fish.